Okay, Colin, you better turn that off soon because we're gonna get DMCA'd or some shit. That's what it's called, right? A DMCA? Hold on.
DMCA claim?
Yep. Oh. That's why the...
Don't worry about
Stop
it.
it!
Come on.
Alright.
Fucking...
Welcome to the Liquid Musings podcast, the main podcast we're gonna be having.
They won't let me play Gundam openings.
Well, that's pretty appropriate, though, speaking of Gundam, because today's topic, unlike the other podcasts that I'm going to be doing, this is going to be a more formal, more concentrated podcast, let's say. I'm your host, Aaron, by the way, and joining me today is my boy, the Lolly Prophet, Colin.
Hi, it's me. I'm a Lolly Prophet.
Yep.
Send to me lollies.
Send me lollies. Send me all of your children.
Send me all of Put them in that orphanage.
Anyway,
Alright.
So what we're going to be talking about today in this more formal podcast, unlike the other podcast, which will be going up soon, I think. We record that on a shitty microphone, by the way. Good way to start a podcast, I should say, if I do say so myself. Shitty microphone.
I can't believe I was wondering because I was looking at I heard some of the playback at the last one. I'm like, damn, it kind of sounds pretty bad. And then they told me record on the shitty mic. I'm like, oh my god.
I just realized it as I was opening up Audacity a second time just now. I was like, we didn't do what we normally do, where we like click the button to make sure that it's actually working.
This is just one of the problems we've carried over since the first season of recording the wrong microphone.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. But we never actually did a full podcast. Like, the most we did was 10 minutes.
Sorry?
The most we did...
Oh, yeah, for shitty mic, yeah. Because then we realized, oh shit, we're on the shitty mic.
Right.
But that was a full podcast. Oh, well, have fun with that.
So, yeah. Basically, with this podcast, similar to the other one, I want to make each podcast 1 hour. Anyways, so we're going to be talking about Gundam. So, Colin, Kohai, what do you like? What do you know? Okay, let's start. Because we both like Gundam, but like we've both seen a bunch of different series.
Not enough fucking normies know what Gundam is.
I know, but like we'll get into that because I think that's a conversation we've had many a time. But what's your experience with Gundam? What do you like about Gundam? Or no, let's just start with your experience with Gundam. That's an easy one.
Experience of Gundam? What was it? I got into it because of 00, because that's a very good starter. What else?
Thunderbolt.
Yeah. No, I've seen, like, not so much I've watched. Like, my full experience is kind of like, started off pretty hazy, and then you kind of just told me, yeah, we're gonna, like, watch all the Gundams after this, because, like, I started watching 00, and then you're like, oh shit, I should watch 002.
Yeah.
And we both just watched that. And after that, he just got me on board the Gundam train, and I've kind of just been watching since.
Well, it's funny because, like, I watched, my experience, I would say getting into Gundam was back in the day watching YTV, Bionics, like Gundam Wing, Gundam Seed Destiny. But I barely remember those series. What got me back in was Gundam Age, which is a highly contested series. Then you start watching 00, and I was like, oh shit, I should probably get on that. Then I watched the original shit. And by the original shit, I mean I've watched most of the Universal Century. The only one I haven't watched is Victory, because that's 50 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And I just haven't gotten around to it. I rewatched parts of Wing, like the early stuff, and I watched all of G Gundam, as well as Iron Blood Orphan. So I'm pretty well versed. If I do say so myself.
Way more versed than me. I wanted to go back and watch the other ones, but then you told me just watch the movies.
Yeah, the best way to consume the original series is the movie.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, it's Mobile Suit Gundam 1, Mobile Suit Gundam Soldiers of Sorrow, which is one of the best, coolest names for a series, and Encounters in Space, which is the third movie. Anyways, so, what do you like about Gundam, Colin? It's not like we had this conversation at a diner literally like 20 minutes ago.
That was a very good milkshake. It's just the storytelling, because most people don't like Gundam because it's very different from your average anime series.
Modern anime
series. Gundam storytelling is just like, if you watch today's Gundam, like something like Iron Blooded Orphans or Thunderbolt, and you go back and watch the originals, you've got like the same story arcs, you've got the same kind of storytelling, and it's like very consistent.
Yeah.
So they haven't like changed to pander to the modern simplification of things. Because one thing I guess people like that don't watch Mega don't understand is just that you can like politics is that in the Mecha series it's all about usually there has to be two groups of opposing sides and they give their morals and their interests and it just happens to collide with whatever the protagonists are. That's one of the main like building bases of just a Gundam story.
Yeah.
It happened with like Celestial Being. It's like, okay, the government wants to do this. We're gonna do something else. We don't like you, and we're just gonna fight over it.
Yeah, I think politics is a major factor in a lot of Gundam series, as well as like just world building. I mean, we were just talking about this just earlier, but the world building in Gundam series is usually really good. Like they talk about like, oh, the events leading up to the conflict, who all the major players are, that kind of stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. It's. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. No, it's just like I really love the world building. Like, there's a scene. The best way I described this earlier to Colin was that there's a scene in Gundam Thunderbolt where straight up two characters are sitting around talking about music and like why they like certain bands. And it's like, oh, I like this band because the girls are cute, and it's like, oh, I like the band for their music. That's basically how that conversation goes in Thunderbolt. But it's just like there's so much nuance and there's a lot of passion in that series, I would say, or just Gundam in general.
Yeah. You know what the word I'm looking for? The difference just between the side dialogue, what you said, like the world building dialogue, just having people talk about the world, like just being music. One of them things is that in Gundam, all this existential talk about other things happening in their time, isn't padding. Where in a lot of other, like in our modern animes, you just have those talks and it's already a slice of life, or it's already just an adventure and they're just having downtime,
right.
And it just feels like padding on the screen time. It just feels like, let's just have these characters talk about some random thing that isn't like ever going to matter ever again,
right.
But let's just have them talk for a couple minutes. Like, Gundam, when you have those talks, it's just a couple seconds. And if it happens to be a couple seconds, then it probably actually means something relevant to the plot.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm going to segue into something that I like about Gundam, is nuanced character development. It's almost like it's a gone thing in anime nowadays. Like, subtleties, you know, where characters aren't just spouting monologues.
Oh, yeah.
That are just explaining their bullshit. Like, you get that sometimes.
I have to prove to you that my reason to fight is right.
Well, it's like, in some, like, you do get it a bit in Gundam. Like, there's the Sig Zion speech, as everyone knows. Yeah. Like, but there is a lot more nuance. Like, I don't think you could write a character like Char in modern anime, where everything about his character is so nuanced, and you don't really understand the amount of layers you got, because at the end of the day, the whole point of Char's character is that he's all about revenge, and he will do, say, and be anything in order to get that revenge.
Yeah, it's that it's that accurate depiction of just what makes someone strive for something that comes across poorly designed in a lot of new shows, where just the typical revenge story and a lot of things, it's poorly done because you never kind of switch the perspective. Like for Char and his like revenge, the reason why he's a good character is because you can see it, because the idea is that he is the villain.
Yeah. That
you see it from the good guy's point of view, but then you also switch to his point of view, say that you see his revenge is a little more meaningful.
Well, let's transition into another topic.
Yeah.
We covered more in like 9 minutes that we covered in like our entire last podcast. No, but to transition into another topic, there's no real good and bad in Gundam. Like, there's just people almost.
There is. I feel that, like I said, it's a storytelling. It's a consistent way of storytelling where they depict both sides as something to fight for. They never favor one side, even though their idea is to portray the good guys as being the good guys. Like, you want to root for the heroes, which is a pretty, like, it's just a kind of like I don't want to say like masterful, but it's a show of good writing where they want to show two sides, but they want you to root for one, but also know that it's not the heroes you're looking for. They're not meant to be put on a pedestal and you look up to them. They're supposed to say, these are the people that I just want to like kind of enjoy the ride along. I want to see these people and what they do. It's not, oh, I wonder what happens after these people win.
Yeah.
It's, I want to see them as they go. They're showing us. I want to see what they do to get to this
Well,
point.
I think, and I'm going to go back to the original series on this, they do a good job of portraying the Earth Federation as a bunch of scummy, corrupt assholes.
Yeah.
And they do the same for Zeon to an extent, but they also, there's a scene where, in the original Gundam series, where Amuro is hiding under a bed from Zeon soldiers.
Yeah.
And the Zeon soldiers come in because they're in a refugee camp and they're checking on a mother to make sure that her baby isn't sick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Amuro comes out of the bed and shoots them both.
Jesus.
Because he's scared to death for his life, because he's a Federation soldier.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, everyone has humanity in this series. And it's not... I think people commonly mischaracterize Gundam as a war is hell story. And it does have elements of that. But I think...
to me, it has elements of that to portray the realism, but I wouldn't say it's ever meant to be war as hell.
Like, I think the better way of describing it is that Gundam's a story about humanity. In every facet of it, the meaning of the word. Like, it's about trying to find humanity as a soldier, trying to find humanity as a politician.
It's much of a story that explains how humankind becomes better through conflict.
Yeah.
I don't know like the exact like word that represents that, but I know that it's like there's a specific dynamic storytelling not dynamic story, a specific dynamic ideology that humans will get better through conflict.
Yeah, or not necessarily through conflict, but there's this whole feeling
like
where it's like Double O touches on this, where it's like there's a lot of emphasis made on the idea of communication,
mm-hmm.
and like communicating in all its forms, whether it's through conflict, whether it's through talking, whether it's just communication, and like trying to evolve through communication. It has a very transcendentalist ideology almost.
That entire fucking show is just like transcendence.
Yeah.
Got a fucking new test.
Like, I think Double O does a poor job of trying to convey it.
Yeah.
I think something like Unicorn or Char's Counterattack, other series, they do better jobs. And like, it's just varying degrees of the same core idea of this transcendental thing. Yeah. All right, let's go a little bit less. Would you call it less esoteric? Where it's like we're talking about philosophy and whatever.
Yeah.
All right, favorite mobile suits, go.
Favorite mobile suits? Oh fuck. Well, I think I've known this for a long time, but I've explained to you many times that my top 3 is the Sinanju.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah.
I think we both like the Sinanju.
It's the Sinanju, the Bale from Iron Blooded, and then the Double O Razor.
Yeah, you're a big fan of the Double O Razor. I've never felt the Double O Razor. I like the Double O. I like the Double O.
Yeah?
Yeah, I never really felt
the Double O or the Exia?
The Double O.
Okay, Double O.
The Exia as well. I just like the stupid arm blade. I love it so much.
Dude, that's the Double O Razor. Double O Razor is just stupid arm blade.
But it's too much. It's too much.
But like, I mean, it's not too much because every so many Gundams already have stupid wing designs.
That is true. For me, I'm a big fan of New Gundam, which is the Gundam that has one wing, with like the funnels coming out on one side.
Yeah.
It's from Char's Counterattack. The opposite of it, the Sazabi, is also pretty fun, which is Char's final mobile suit. The Snanju, you already said it. Yep. The Nightingale, which is the alternate version of Char's final mobile suit. Which the Nightingale is really cool because it looks like the opposite of a Zone of the Ender's mech, if that makes any sense.
So it's very thick.
Yeah, it's thick. Like, but it has a lot of Zone of the Ender methodology behind its design, where it's trying to be.
It's less rectangular.
No, it's designed so that it works well in space.
Oh, okay.
And aside from that, I really like both the Zephyranthes and the Physalis from 0083 Stars Memory, which are the two main mobile suits. Because I like the stupid nuclear reactors on the the Physalis' arms, and I like how the Zephyranthes is just like an upgraded version of the original RX-78.
You know what I actually liked? It was the base. It's just regular Gundam type, but I actually like the Gundam from A War in the Pocket. Just that the base. Yeah. I forget what it's called. Like
the Alex.
The Alex, whatever.
The NT1 Alex.
Yeah. Because there was two versions. There was because I looked at it was there's one version without heavy armor and there's one with heavy armor or whatever. I remember it's and I kind of just like the design because it's the reason why I also like the Bale, just for being a very it's a simple color design. It's just blue and white, and it just looks simple. I know you have some problems with the face and shit.
I hate the Bale's face.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of jank, but just I really like simple designs. It's one of the reasons why
it's just a simple white and blue.
Yeah, it's
actually, speaking of simple white, I really like the unicorn. I hate the Banshee though. I hate the Banshee. The Banshee freaking sucks. Fight me. I know there's people specifically in the Gundam chats I'm in who like the Banshee. Fuck you people. The unicorn's great though. Yeah.
And the unicorn that comes back in Iron Blooded.
King's Throne. For alternate timeline mobile suits, I'm a big fan of Grizzly, aka Lumber Gundam, the Canadian Gundam from G Gundam. Tequila Gundam, also known as Spike Gundam, from Neo Mexico, and G Gundam is also pretty fun because it's just a Gundam with a sombrero and a poncho.
Jesus. Cultural appropriation.
It's great, man. Yeah, there's those ones. I really like Death Scythe, Shenlong, Heavy Arms, and Wing from Wing. The Tall Geese is pretty cool too.
Some people would argue on that Wing.
No, not the Wing Zero Endless Waltz.
Oh, okay, that bullshit.
I like the Wing Gundam. I'm gonna be very specific. As Colin already said, I like the Exia. I like the 00. I like lock-ons, whatever it's the Dynamas.
The Dynamas, yeah.
Yeah. I hate Tiares.
Fuck Tiares. Tiares is an example of mechs I don't. You know how some people hate the generic strong arm type trope of characters? They're like, oh, I'm a buff burly dude.
Yeah.
I hate that type in Gundams, where it's just I'm just gonna make a giant mech that's just giant pieces of metal, and they have giant guns on top.
Okay, so I take it you're not a big fan of the Physalis.
Why not?
I take it you're not a big fan of the Physalis.
No.
Alright, got it.
I can't deal with it.
Oh, actually, there's one I'm missing from some of the Zeta mechs are pretty cool. I really like the Hyzik, which is just a Zaku, okay? But it was developed by the Earth Federation after the war. And so... Okay, here's another thing about world building, okay? There's a whole subplot in Gundam that's completely undertones about how one company is making all the money off all the mobile suits, called Anaheim Electronics, because they absorbed Zeon's military industry after the war, okay?
Yeah.
And it's barely mentioned, and it's all subplots. It's all subplots. And basically, they're the ones who are developing mobile suits for both sides, so they're profiting all the time.
That's so good. Dude, they just
So the Hyzak was developed by Anaheim Electronics after the 1 Year War, when they got all of Zeon's technology, and they scouted all their scientists. So it looks like a Zeon suit on a basic level, but the cockpit and some of the armor is actually part of Jimmy's from the Federation. So it's a weird hybrid. I like that thing. What else is there? The Rick Dios is okay. I like the Zeta Gundam. The Double Zeta is pretty cool. Am I missing some? From the alternate universes, we've talked about the Exia and the Wings and the G Gundam. Gundam Age gets a lot of bad rep, but I like some of the mobile suits designs, specifically the Vegan designs and The Age 1, I think it's called. The Age 1, yeah.
I haven't watched Age. Can't comment.
I'm talking to the
the audience.
Yeah. The Susanoo is pretty cool from Double Mr. Bushido. Mr. Bushido's mech. That's pretty cool. I like some of the Throne mechs, the Gundam Throne mechs from Double as well. They're pretty okay. But my favorite of all the alternate universe designs, and I've told you this, it's the fucking Vidar, man. The Vidar from Iron Blood Orphans is so cool.
2 episodes of screen time.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fuck. Well, again.
I mean, like, this is the same argument I had with the Bale. Like, the Vidar and the Bale just got such shit treatment. I mean, like, we don't care so much for, fucking, what's the final Vidar form?
Kimura's Vidar.
Fucking Kimura's Vidar looked like shit, so we're just glad it died.
Yeah.
But, like, dude, come on. Those were just such great fucking designs, and then they just, like, tossed them away.
I like the Barbados. I know you hate the Barbados.
I can't. Yo,
yeah, we could go on for that forever. But yeah, the Barbados is pretty okay. I'm fine with the Barbados.
Yeah.
I think those are the main ones that we can cover. What about, like, I guess not necessarily Gundams, but like the other, because I know you talked about the Sinanju, but like, are there any other main ones that are not Gundams that you like? Like, let's say like the Grazes or the GNXs.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I can't, because I wouldn't remember the names. I don't remember names of the fodder mechs.
The Jegan is really cool from Star's Memory, which is it looks like a Jimmy, but it's got like the jetpack things sticking out of it, kind of like a regular Gundam.
I know there is one that's been that's been in Gundam since Unicorn that I liked. It was the fodder of the good guys of the United Federation.
Yeah, the Federation.
Like it was just like an elite.
It's blue, right?
Yeah, it was like an elite version of the blue one that like basically transformed or whatever.
Yeah, it's actually a variant of the Zeta Gundam. It's called the Razel.
Yeah, I know. I remember fucking just looking at it.
Yeah, the Razel's pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of like this.
Okay, never mind. I won't get into it. But you just reminded me of something just now by talking about later Universal Century.
Yeah.
We're missing like shit like the Crossbone Gundam, man. Crossbone Gundam. It's just a pirate with a giant crossbone jetpack and a cape.
Is this canon?
It is canon. Crossbone Gundam is super canon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Characters. I really like the Crossbone Vanguard from Crossbone Gundam because they're just you know what the thing about the Crossbone Vanguard is? It's that they're just they've got no reason. Like they've got no reason to exist really. The reason they exist is that the Earth Federation's a bunch of scummy assholes and they're corrupt and they can't see that the bad guys are like planning to conquer the Earth. So it's up to a bunch of vigilante kids to like save the day. I think the Crossbone Vanguard's pretty cool. We talked about Char. Char's pretty cool. Amro's okay. I don't really like him. Newer stuff. Setsuna I'm pretty okay with. I hate Saji Crossroad.
I am Setsuna.
I am Gundam. I sexually identify as a Gundam. What was the name of the guy in Double O who's the Arabic terrorist?
What?
Ali. No, Ali. The guy who was with Setsuna. The guy who trained Setsuna.
Oh fuck! I don't know.
Ali Al Sanchez.
Oh yeah.
He's pretty cool just because he's a scumbag. Mr. Bushido, we mentioned him. He's fun because he's just Char. He's just Char. He's a Char clone, but he's like almost self-aware that he's a Char clone.
Yeah.
There's some characters in Age I like. I like the idea of Age a lot. Like the going through the generations. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a character named Z-Heart who's the most legit Char clone besides the one in Iron Blood Orphans because he's got the most legit reasons. in a very similar way to Iron Blood Orphans. Actually, now that I think about it, because we both like Vidar from Iron Blood Orphans. I think conceptually.
Conceptually, yeah.
Because he's just. Okay, minus Splice, he's just a character from season 1.
Yeah.
Who just had, and you've got a whole season worth of reasons why you should like Vidar and his cause, because
you should. If you don't end up rooting for Vidar in the end, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, we can get into that. We can get into that later.
Fuck McGillis.
Freaking McGillis. McGillis is a fun character though.
I fucking hate. I just hate how he ends up. Come on, he was so cool, and then he just cucked me.
Well, he got diddled as a kid. It's fine.
I love that. His entire point of characterization is he got diddled as a kid, and that's the reason why he's such a piece of shit and wants to take down everyone in the fucking government.
Yeah. How do you feel about Mika?
He's an interesting character because his point is to bring everyone down to earth. He has his entire point is just, I'm here to progress the story, and that is literally my cause. It is literally like, you tell me what to do, Orga, and I'll get it done. Yeah. And that's all it is. It's like, he's a character just meant to progress the story, just meant to fight. And he's not bad because of that. Because it's so just blatantly obvious that he lives for Orga and nothing else. That is his characterization. He does nothing to argue against it. Yeah. It's like, people could say like, oh yeah, he's just like a plot point to progress. I mean, that's what the character is essentially morally obligated to do. That's what they've explained it over and over. That's his purpose. He has nothing else. Because if he wasn't meant to progress the story, the minute he does fail, he gets mad at himself. I think he's a good character in that they made him something. They made him not appear as just a plot point.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I just have a couple of problems with Mika. There's a couple. I think. I don't know how to describe this. Mika is an interesting character because he's like characters that we've seen before, except let's say Hiro Yui from Gundam Wing or Setsuna from Double. He has that very practical mindset almost. Yeah. But Setsuna gets overly dramatic at some points, where it doesn't feel like he should.
I think that's just Mika bringing it down to earth. He's he doesn't get dramatic over things. He kind of just does it.
Yeah. Aside from characters like pilots or main characters, let's say. Yeah. I like a lot of the mecha princesses. I love that trope. I love mecha princess as a trope.
I loved laughter.
I love laughter too. We're not gonna get into that right now. Laughter's pretty fun. I hate Marina Ismail. She's the worst version of that trope.
Marina Ismail.
Double
O. Yeah, Double O. Jesus Christ, yeah. Dude, I don't know. I didn't like her. I didn't hate her. I didn't think she was good.
She just complains too much, and she's like,
no,
why?
She's just too. What's the word? Nagging? What the she's so overly.
She acts really high and mighty, but and then she complains when stuff doesn't get done. She's
complaining when stuff.
Because I think specifically of the scenes where it's with her and Catherine in season 2, where it's just her just complaining and complaining, look at the children, look at the children. And it's bro, we're in the middle of a war. Do you mind?
Yeah, the problem with her is that she kind of takes this high pedestal, and even I got kind of pissed off at the point. It's just, she felt like she was in the wrong story. Yeah. That I want to bring peace. Because this is something I was going to bring up when we were talking about his themes in Gundam. What makes the story so good is that Gundam doesn't settle for peace. None of the story is ever fucking solved by peace. It's just solved through conflict. So that's why Marina just feels just like so out of place, trying to bring peace in this story, in this world where peace just doesn't fucking work. We don't want to see that.
If you hate that type of character, there's a character you'll love in Unicorn, because she's all about, yeah, I know the mind games, yeah, I know this piece shit doesn't work,
Yeah.
and she's the mecha princess.
Hell yeah.
And she's just like, yo, yeah, I know it doesn't work, so fuck you, Char. and Char's like, okay, well, I guess this war is gonna go as it's gonna go. And she's like, yeah, it's gonna go down, Char. I'm gonna fucking murder you. And conversely, compared to Marina Ismail, my problem with Marina Ismail is that she just goes in circles. Like,
oh, definitely. She doesn't progress whatsoever. She has no.
She never learns her lesson. And like that's not, and you can tell that's not the point of the character.
Yeah, because the point is that she's supposed to enforce the peace mindset onto it, because she's supposed to make Setsuna question his beliefs.
Yeah, exactly. It's that Setsuna changes. It's not her that
changes. Yes.
Conversely, though, I became a bigger fan of Kudelia as time went on.
Oh, no, yeah. See, I was going to say, it's like, Kudelia gets great because she eventually just gives up on this peace shit. She's like...
Well, she tries to find peace in her own way.
Where she's literally, like, one of her speeches. Yeah, the speech is just like, I know I can't stop you guys from fighting, so I'm just going to, like, find peace when I can. And that's what everybody learns. It's just that, in the end, they're fighting for something, for, like, the peace after they've fought.
Yeah.
Like, so she does a good job of just rubbing off, like, even with, like, Mika, like, she doesn't really have, like, a talk, but she's just, like, always there, and kind of just runs through Mika that he wants to give, like, Orga the peace after. Like, especially Orga, I don't know if this was, I think it was more of the talk with, what's his brother again? Naze. Sorry. When he talks to Naze about, like, you just want to get there, but where are you going?
Yeah.
And that was, like, a really big thing of just, they're trying, like, so hard to fight to get to a point, like, what is after that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just some, I guess I wanted to end out on more, of a concluding feeling about how we feel about Gundam. It's just, like, it's a different
feeling.
But I want to contextualize it in a way where we were talking when we were having dinner or whatever about, like, the modern anime industry, right?
Yeah.
And how Gundam.
I kind of wish that we recorded my just, like, explanation on the shittiness of our community.
Well, just fire those shots, Colin.
I'll have to give you, like, context about it.
But
we'll talk it for another time.
Yeah, but, like, I think I can say that the Gundam is just different from other anime.
It's weird because it's gone out of style. Sorry, it's different because it's gone out of style. Is the thing is that before a lot of, like, when Gundam was, like, the big thing, there was, like, lots of mechas, just like what are some of the other notable mechs?
Evangelion, Gurren Lagann. I think you're thinking more about, like, stuff like in the 80s and the 90s, like Eva, Macross. I would, even though it's not a mecha, like Cowboy Bebop, it has that kind of feel where it's like a very not anime story.
Yeah.
Or it's not modern anime story.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I mean, that's what modern anime is that it's very weird how modern anime stories themselves are stereotyped. So, and I think that's why so many stories feel very weak and very hollow, especially in the moral implications of things, which is, like, why Fate was so good. Is that the entire Holy Grail War was just learning about characters and their morals.
Well, the thing about Fate is that's a story out of time. It was written in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
The original,
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just keeps going, like, the original keeps going. I mean, like, we can see already Fate Apocrypha is leaning very more towards
the modern anime
aesthetic. And I think that's why just... Like, what's some other notable like stereotype? Like Steins Gate. Steins Gate isn't an anime story. It's literally like just any story. I'm just gonna say like Western story just so we can like preface this and not get confused with typical anime story. Like it's literally just like a Western story about time traveling put into an anime medium.
Right. Okay, I can see that argument.
Yeah. Like it's not actually Western. I just want to say like it's not this typical Japanese anime.
Well, yeah, because like if you want to talk influences, Gundam is one of the most influential anime to ever exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's up there in terms of Japanese pop culture, because like what we perceive as Japanese pop culture, or rather not us but like Westerners, like we think of stuff like Akira, Ghost of the Shell, but like the things that resonated with Japanese audiences back in the day are like Gundam, JoJo, Sailor Moon, like the things that have endured, and so much so that they appear in truncated, parodied forms almost in modern anime.
Okay, was it like what was that other mecha? No, it was a Macross. Move Love.
Move Love's different. I would say Move Love's a product of...
A product of Gundam, yeah.
No, Move Love's a product of... I almost want to say the modern anime feel, but it's a bit different. Like, it has a very Gundam way of approaching the story, but I have my problem. This is neither here nor there.
This is another.
But when we're talking about, like, just how old anime feels, because, like, it's almost as if anime has become a parody of anime.
Yeah, it's like the same thing of just of anime stereotypes being a stereotype. It feels that everybody is very willing to accept the replacement. Like, I almost want to say like memes. It's like, we kind of just enjoy anime in the same way we enjoy memes. Where it's not so much whether it's good, but if it's just like funny, ironic, and just dumb enjoyment.
Okay, I can see.
I mean, like,
I can see what you're talking about.
It's the reason why Arrow manga, like, even though it has like a relatively
episode 1 of the podcast, brought up Arrow.
It just feels like it has such a big influence on the community because it's just a meme. It's something that like anybody can enjoy.
The girl says dicks.
The girl just says dicks.
But like Gundam was built in a time where there was no memes.
There was no memes. There was no influence. And it's
like Star Wars, but that's Star Wars, Starship Troopers. That's basically
we could talk about like Force Awakens, Rogue One. Like that's all just product of just the evolution of time. Like a lot of that stuff is just based on like, hey, what do fans like now? Oh yeah, they like really dark, gritty shit. So let's just make Rogue One, not characterize anyone.
I almost want to say that it's a parallel to the anime community because we know that studios pander to taste almost.
Yeah. Well, they have to.
For the money dollar bills, but like, and like, Gundam is a product of something where it failed initially.
Yeah.
It was originally supposed to be 50 episodes and it was cut down to 43.
Yep.
It's a project of failure and it's love in spite of failure. If that makes any sense. Where it's like
it's actual love for craft. It's actually an anime that they wanted to be made. That like because so many anime now is made for no reason. Gundam is reversed. It's like they have to make a good enough show to be aired in the first place. Now it's just like, okay, which show is bad enough not to be aired right now? Like
I think that's an oversimplification, but I think I understand your sentiment.
Yeah, I'm just saying like there are so many shows now that we get so many random ones that just don't need to be made. Like fucking like Smartphone. Isekai was Smartphone, whatever. Like why did that need to be made? It didn't.
For my ironic enjoyment.
For your ironic enjoyment. I mean, like it's the same reason fucking why Roku Dynasty, fucking Akashi Records was made. Like why? I don't know. It's just generic shit, but it was made for my guilty pleasure. Like it's just anime made because they have enough money to just spend on spend on giving to the masses, or just like
I think the problem is that the anime studio thing is in a cycle where they just because like they don't have the money because everyone knows that the average animator in Japan is underpaid as shit.
Yeah.
And they have to take on multiple projects and work at different studios, and everyone's basically a freelancer.
Yep.
So it's just like I don't know, man.
It feels like a mess, honestly.
Because, like, back in the day when it was just Sunrise and, like, Gainax, and you didn't have things like A1 and, like, all of these 50 anime studios.
There's just too many.
The system's broken.
And the system is broken. It's like, I'm saying, like, we have too many shows that we don't need right now when we can... It's quality over quantity, and it's not supposed to be...
it's quantity over quality.
Quantity over quality. Fuck, I don't know what I'm saying. No, I mean... What I'm saying is that I want it to be quality over quantity, which is what everybody wants. I mean, like, I'm not trying to make, like, the typical generic, but
really?
just
everyone wants quality over quantity. Arrow Mega Sensei sells all
I'm getting my words mixed up.
I'm joking with you. It's like, yeah, it's like, we want that. We want that.
It's people want quality over quantity, which I acknowledge is not a feasible thing. It's the reason why why there isn't more good anime.
Yeah.
It's just too much money to fucking do. But it's just, we also acknowledge there's so many shows that are made that we don't need, and it's only to pull in like this, just like that slightest bit of extra money.
Yeah.
We don't need so many studios, we don't need so many shows, because the thing is, so many shows like actually just go unnoticed. Like, because there's literally 3 tiers, and everybody forgets the 3rd tier. Everyone knows, like, oh, there's the most popular shows, there's like 4 shows, and then there's like the subversive shows, like maybe like on the verge of like being unknown, just like, hey, you guys should really check out. It's actually really good. Like
how many people watched Flip Floppers?
Yeah, just like
how many people watch Flip Floppers?
Like Rakugo, it's just these second tiers that like nobody really knows, but some people do see it and like actually and like really like it and like show it off. And then there's a third one that nobody acknowledges because nobody's watching them. Nobody cares that they're made, and they're shit.
The Flip Floppers tier.
Like, no, absolutely no one is watching that, and you won't believe until you actually watch just how many shows like don't go unnoticed. Like, sorry, don't go like watched. And I can't believe just how many. Like, it's strange because we have those shows, and the only reason we have this tier 1 and tier 2 of shows is because we have so many tier 3 shows that just nobody wants to watch. I mean, like, Smartphone is that tier 2 where like people just watch it for arbitrary reasons of being memes, and like it's so bad it's good.
Alright. I just want to say, I think what I want to end on is that these shows don't really have anything to say. To get back to Gundam, they don't really have anything to say. Like, Gundam is a commentary almost. It's a commentary on humanity. It's a commentary on a bit of the war is hell thing that we were talking about earlier. And like, but it's more, it just had something to say. And I feel like every Gundam series almost has something to say. And the ones that don't have something to say, people mock and ridicule.
Pretty much.
They just have a feeling to them. I don't know how to describe it any better. That's the best I can do.
Yeah, it's, what the thing is, people kind of like to watch shows that don't have anything to say. I mean, what was the whole thing of just turn your brain off and enjoy it? Like, people are looking just for shows just to like numb their brain in, to enjoy stupidity.
Yeah, I guess.
And that's what gets the anime industry. See, that's what like actually fucks up the anime industry, is that because we have so many tastes and we have like, we want good shows, like the people will give in money for good shows, but people will also give in money for like shit shows.
Yeah.
So it just shows that have no more meaning than just to be a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
People, like, the anime industry can't quite nail down what people want.
Right.
So it's like, oh yeah, we can like make this like cheaply made show and we can get a ton of money, or it can just like be like fail disastrously if we don't tap into that exact audience.
Alright.
It's just tricky.
I can agree with that sentiment. It's just, yeah. To conclude, Gundam is really good. Everyone should watch it. Okay, let's end off on one less esoteric thing. Favorite pieces of music. Because Gundam has really good music.
Oh, favorite piece of music from Gundam? Oh crap, I couldn't tell you. I've never listened to their full OSTs.
Well, it can be the OPs, the EDs. Rage of Dust, we both like.
Rage of Dust,
Starring Child. I'm a fan of anything with Hiroyuki Sawano, as you know. And we do have that as an episode topic of anime composers, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so let's transition into the spoiler cast, baby. Sig Zion.